Hare Krishna. I welcome you for this Saturday class. We had completed till shloka number 12 and we'll be moving on to shloka number 13. We'll quickly do the Mangla Charan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, what we have seen so far in this 15th chapter is that how this material world is just an upside down banyan tree, and it has branches, and these branches are compared to planets, and it has the three modes. The three modes are actually watering this particular process. And there are twigs, which are like objects of senses. And then you have some roots, which are like, secondary activities or second fruitive activities as such. And if I want to move from the material world to the spiritual world, then I can do it by the process of detachment and surrender. And we need to cut this tree of this material world with the acts of detachment and surrender to the Supreme Lord. And that's how we can transmigrate from the material world to the spiritual world. And we also saw that the Jiva is a part and parcel of Krishna. He's um, struggling into this material world. And Manashashtrani Indriyani, Prakriti Sthani Karshati. So he's struggling with the mind. And we also saw that how this, who can and who cannot, see the soul's transmigration. And then we came up to this point where we said that, how do we appreciate Krishna's position, who is the proprietor and maintainer in this material world. So, at the cosmic level, he is maintaining us in the form of light, and he enters into each planet, and all his energies are working into these planets. And then in this shloka, Krishna says that how he becomes the moon and he supplies that juice of life. Juice of life means vegetables and other things to all the plants. So he says that गामविश्य च भूतानि धारयामि अहम ओजसा पुष्णामि चौषधि सर्व Samo bhutva rasatmaka. Krishna says, I enter into each planet by my energy and they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all the vegetables. So he says that Gam Avishya. See, Gam is all these planets, right? Just give me 1 minute, okay? And Avishya means he enters into them. Cha Bhutani. And Cha Bhutani means the living entities also. And then he's saying Dharyami. Aham Ojasaham. Dharyami means I'm maintaining also or sustaining them. Ojasa. Ojasa means by my by my energy only, I am maintaining them. And Pushnami cha Aushadhi. And I'm saying that, so Krishna is saying that I am nourishing also. See, when he is saying that Dharyami Aham Ojasa, he's saying that I'm sustaining these planets with all the living entities, by my own energy. And how he's saying that? He's saying by entering into them. Right? Avishya. So when he's saying Pushnami cha Aushadhi Sarva Soma Bhutva. So he's saying that I am nourishing and Aushadhi. See, over here, Aushadhi, some is when sometimes we say Aushadhi means medicine also, right? But uh, he means to say that plants and herbs also, they are also like medicine. They work like medicine and some medicinal components. So he's saying that I nourish all these plants and vegetables also. And how do I nourish these plants and vegetables? Then he's saying that Somaha Bhutva Rasatmakaha. As in the form of the moon or as the moon, I provide that Rasatmakaha, that juice which nourishes those vegetables. So all the rules of the nature, including even the gravitational force, is also acting by the will of Krishna. And so it is Krishna who has made this arrangement of the force of gravity. This is what he is saying over here. Sometimes, scientists also, give an explanation, some descriptions, which means something is there and they just describe it. And see, when you say explanation means you give a cause also. Just naming a particular, pre-existing phenomena is like, for example, what is gravity? So when we say that gravity means all the orbits are kept in its own place, right? These planets, they just don't fall. So they are in gravity. But actually, what keeps planets in the orbit is actually gravity. When you see Newton has said that I'm not explaining how this happens. This is something which is not proved. He said that I'm just giving some mathematical equation for a phenomena which is already observed. So when we see these planets that are moving in an orbit, I'm just giving some mathematical calculation which is explaining what is the motion of the moon, the planets, the sun, all these things. Okay. So he's saying that like Why is he explaining that? Just give me 1 minute, okay? I'll tell you. So like for example, somebody who has lived in a dark room or he's lived in darkness, and if he sees light, he will naturally ask that how this darkness produces light. But we also know that darkness can never produce light. So that does not mean that absence of light is producing darkness. So to explain something, on the basis of matter, it's not possible. Uh, Consciousness produces matter. That is what Krishna is pointing towards this particular verse. So Krishna says, actually, I am only sustaining these planets. Dharyami aham ojasaha. So when you see even in the purport, uh, where is I read yesterday. Hmm. Hmm. Similarly, all these planets are floating in space, and this is due to the entrance of the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His energy is sustaining each planet just like a handful of dust. If someone holds a handful of dust, there is no possibility of the dust falling. But if one throws it in the air, it will fall down. Similarly, these planets which are floating in the air are actually held in the fist of the universal form by the Supreme Lord. By his strength and energy, all moving and non-moving things stay in their place. It is said in the Vedic hymns that because of the Supreme Personality of God, that the sun is shining and the planets are steadily moving. Were it not for him, all the planets would scatter just like dust in the air and perish. Similarly, it is due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the moon nourishes all vegetables. Due to the moon's influence, the vegetables become delicious. Without the moonshine, the vegetables can neither grow nor taste uh, succulent. Human society is working, living comfortably, and enjoying food due to the supply from the Supreme Lord. And this is one of the reasons that Krishna is saying that Pushnami cha aushadhi sarva samoha bhutva rasatmakam. I am providing that nourishment. And the juice that is coming through Krishna's arrangement, it is happening through the moon. So Prabhupada is saying that everything becomes palatable by the agency of the Supreme Lord through the influence of moon. So this is like some mechanism which really uh, we don't know about science theory, which keeps changing, and almost no theory has passed the test of time. So these researches have been done, but in all, if you see, when we say that everything becomes palatable by the agency of the Lord, when I'm offering food to the Supreme Lord, then what is happening? Krishna's mercy is flowing, or Krishna is giving his. See, the very fact that, I have 3 meals a day, or somebody's having 2 meals a day, it's actually by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. You cannot say that, oh, I had done some very nice karmas. That is why I'm born in a very good family. And that's why I'm getting, prasadam 2 times or 3 times a day. But uh, every moment is a moment of gratitude. And if we understand this, uh, it will be so very this that uh, whatever we receive, whatever we are actually, we feel that, okay, this is I'm enjoying. But then while enjoying, if we realize that this is happening because of the Supreme Lord's mercy, then you move a little step towards Krishna, that yes, you have gratitude for that Lord who has provided you. Like, if we start counting right from the time we get up in the morning, okay, the first mercy of the Supreme Lord is that He helps you to remember that who we are, right? So at night we just forget in our dream or sleep, deep sleep, that who I am. So the very first thing Krishna helps us is that, okay, I am, so and so person. The next thing that we wake up, he gives us water. He gives us all the other ingredients which are necessary for my survival. And every minute, if you see, for example, if the sun wouldn't rise, what would happen? There would be no, action during the daytime. It would be just darkness. And darkness means only people would be sleeping in ignorance also. And bodily also, people would be just sleeping. So no activity or no action as such. So it's a very important that through these shlokas, we just try to see that how the mercy of Krishna is flowing in so many ways. Okay, let's go to the next shloka. So we saw that how Krishna is our maintainer at the cosmic level in shlokas 12 and 13. Now in this 14th and 15th shloka, Krishna will tell that Krishna is our maintainer at a very personal level also. How? He's saying, Aham Vaishnava Naro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyanah Chaturvidham. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming to digest the four kinds of foodstuffs. So he's saying that uh, Vaishnavaner. So all the uh, like when we say this Vaishnavaraha is actually all these demigods or the devtas who are or who preside over the digestion. Then Krishna says, I become Vaishnavar, which doesn't mean that there is some complete oneness between uh, Krishna and this planetary portion. But just like the Vibhuti yoga that we saw, okay, uh, some kind of correlationship is actually described there. The correlation between one among many, like Krishna is one among the many as such. And this Vaishnavaner, he gets the power to digest by the grace of the Lord. So even or you can say that the sun gets the power to give the light by the grace of the Lord. So imagine the food also that we are digesting, right, in our stomach. The fire of digestion, that is also by the grace of Lord. And then he's saying that aham vaishnavanaro bhutva praninam deham ashritah. So it so when it says praninam, when all living entities, which means all those 84 lakhs of species he's talking about. He's applying to all those other living entities also. So when Krishna says that Mamaivanshu Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So Krishna says that these living entities are my part and parcel. They are meant to take shelter of Krishna. But instead of taking shelter of Krishna, then they have taken shelter of what? They have taken shelter of this deham. They have taken shelter of this body. And they are ashritaha. They're even dependent on the body. Right? See, over here, when Prabhupada is giving a translation in the bodies in ashrita means situated as such. So the living entities are situated in the body, but at the same time, they have taken shelter also of this body. Okay. And having taken shelter of the body, they are trying to enjoy at the bodily level. But they cannot maintain uh, mm, the body by their independent effort. So, see, sometimes we don't think it is my body. We think I am the body. But actually speaking, we can't maintain our own body by our own selves. Um, um, and airs, all the prana vayu that is there, is an important in all the functions of the body, including even the digestion. So when we say prana vayu, so those airs are very important. And that is the saying, prana apanaha samayuktaha pachamihi annam chaturvidham. So he's saying, so I'm digesting the food by what? Prana, the outgoing air and the downgoing air, right? So there are four kinds of food which are, there, which one is, you chew, right? Some foods you suck, some foods you lick, and some foods are dunked, डुबा डुबा के खाते हैं हम लोग, like that way. So we cannot even digest the food. We can only eat it. Only eating activity हम कर रहे हैं. Digestion की activity कौन कर रहा है, या who is helping that food to be digested? That is also Krishna's mercy. So many times we say, that God gives and He forgives, and we get and we forget, like that way. So although someone can say that he does not believe some demigods who is supervising this digestion, uh, digestion in digestion of the food, but scientifically also, when we see, it is a very complex process to convert that food to a very useful energy. It requires many complex reactions also within. Recently, I was just seeing one video on weight loss actually. And you might wonder that why is Mataji seeing some videos on weight loss? But as you age, um, our cells tend to, increase, and the fat cells, they try to, aggravate, and especially in women after a certain age, then they increase their weight also. So I was just trying to, understand the science behind this, uh, how the mechanism works, that what do I need to do to sustain a balanced diet till the end of my manai, because I need energy also to work, and I need to stay fit also. Otherwise, an obese person who is, too much obese, then he has his quality of life is affected. So even the guy who was actually speaking is saying that if we want to keep the quality of our life good, then we need to have a consistent diet. And he was actually giving the mechanism that how it works and how the gut bacteria helps, and how fiber, fat, and proteins help. So just to understand, but of course it is very complex process, and it requires many complex reactions also. So now, and nowadays, these transplantations, and he was talking about some injection also, which was like one injection is something like 1 lakh to, just reduce. And those injections uh, are injected so that you feel satiated. The signal goes to the brain that I am full and I don't need to eat now. Whatever energy is required for my body is already taken in, and now I don't need to eat. So it reduces your hunger pangs, and it keeps you, still energetic and ongoing. So if you realize that more now, please do not try this because it is based on body to body experience as such. If you have seen that when you eat less, you're more energetic. But if you eat more, or if you keep on binging, then what happens? The body slows down or it becomes more lazy. But the lesser you eat, the more active you are. But this is completely, case based. Sometimes some people need thrice a day, some people need twice a day, and some people have, habituated their body that okay, once a day only I'll take meals. Like recently we had uh, His Holiness Trivikram Maharaj, and he eats only once a day at night. He does not eat in the morning, no breakfast, no lunch. He eats only dinner at night. But he has, and all these sannyasis, what they do is they have a very low carb and a high protein food. Of course, Trivikram Maharaj does not even take grains, completely without grains. His diet was only with vegetables and many other things as such. And uh, more of millets and more of vegetables, and sweet and milk we like completely cut down as such. So coming back to this particular shloka. So um, uh, we were talking about that if somebody's heart is not working or somebody's hand is not working, now there are many transplantations also. They will transplant a new, a liver or a kidney, and so some researcher will try to develop some digestive machine also, so that if someone digestion is not working, then the machine will digest. But they found out that this process is so complex that a machine is not sufficient for it to digest. We need chains of factories which, extend at several miles to achieve it. So uh, you know who is doing this complex processes? We just assume it is happening, like right from the food going into our mouth, and then the whole excretion part that happens, right? So uh, and all these are, voluntary bodily functions. Like nobody takes, control of, this blood circulation or respiration. Sorry, these are all involuntary ones. Nobody's taking control of, our respiration also, or our digestion of the food. And these all are very vital functions of our body, for our exactly survival also. But we don't do these, it is Krishna who is doing that for us. Even when I'm breathing right now, actually Krishna is doing for me. Or even if the digestion that is happening, or even the ability to speak, words that are coming, that is also actually Krishna is doing. But Krishna is not doing this directly. It's not like that, oh, Krishna comes and he sits on my tongue, and then, no, it is through his extended energies that are there. It is through those extended energies, all these functions are happening. So Nature cannot do all these things because nature is not conscious. So, although, like, we have taken the shelter in this body, it is actually, this body is in Krishna's shelter only, or it is in the shelter of Krishna. So we all are dependent on Krishna only, but people really don't realize this. And when they get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then they realize that, okay, I'm dependent on Krishna. Otherwise, people think that, I'm independent and I can do this and I can do that as such. So even when we are, turning away from Krishna, uh, or from Krishna, we are still resting only on Krishna. We are still dependent on Krishna. Even the sense objects, for enjoyment is also not created by us. And have I created these eyes, or have I created these ears, or the nose, or the tongue, teeth as such? No, I'm not. So, for our survival and for our own enjoyment, also we are dependent on Krishna. So even at the material level also, we can see the benedictory nature of Krishna. We can see his arrangements. So that is why, this is the very first step for our, we started with Jnana Chakshu. So it's very first step for our Jnana Chakshu also. Krishna uh, doesn't only arrange for our material life, but he also uh, he does not arrange for our material life, but his main purpose, the primary purpose, is to elevate us to the spiritual consciousness or the spiritual level of consciousness. So this is what is being talked in this particular verse. Let's go to the next verse. Oh, this is a very important shloka now that has come. So how uh, Krishna, who is the when we say that Krishna, who is the Paramatma, he's sitting in all the living entities and he's initiating all these activities. So he says that Sarvascha chaham hridhi sannavishto matta smritirjnana apohanam cha vedescha sarvedaham vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. So this is all the spiritual arrangement of the Supreme Lord. What is that spiritual arrangement? He's saying that I am seated in everyone's heart. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. So the purpose of the Vedas is that to know Krishna. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas. So he says that Sarvasya Cham Hridi Sannavisto. So Sarvasya Chaham. I am only seated in all the living entities, Hridi, heart. Sannavishto, situated, right? So Matta Smritir Jnana Apohanam cha. So three things are coming from Krishna. What is that? One is Smritir. Matta Smritir. मेरे से ही आती है remembrance. मेरे से आ रहा है ज्ञानम knowledge. And मेरे से ही आ रहा है apohanam forgetfulness. Three things are coming from Krishna. So he's the source of remembrance. Sometimes you see, you remember something and you don't remember. And then, especially, when we are answering examinations and we say, oh, Krishna, please help me to remember this, please help me to remember this. And then, you remember, right? So, Vedescha Sarver Aham Eva Vedyo. Like, if you know this, the seventh shloka, when Krishna said, Mamaya Vancha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Mana Shashta Indriyani, Prakriti Sthani Karshati. So that had two parts. So even this verse is having two parts. And there are two distinct thoughts uh, are conveyed over here. And these two thoughts are linked also. So the first, what Krishna is saying that uh, how he is or uh, how Krishna's indwelling presence is there, and his action is through that indwelling presence also. And the second part is his connection with the Vedas, right? So Vedesha Sarver Aham Eva Vedya, when he's saying that by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Whatever we are studying, we are trying to know Krishna. And then he's saying that Vedanta Krit. So uh, by the knowledge of the Vedas, he's to be known. Also, he is the compiler of the Vedas also. And Veda Vitt, he is the knower of the Vedas also. So three parts here and three parts up. In the first part, where he's saying that Sarvasya Samriddhi Sanvishtam Matta Smritir Jnana Apohanam cha. So three things over there. He's saying that from me comes remember, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And in the second part, he's saying that by the Vedas I am to be known. Secondly, he's saying I am the compiler of the Vedas or the Vedanta. And I am the knower also of the Vedas, right? So this is what he's trying to say. And uh, mm, so sometimes we forget that we forget something which we wrote or spoke some years back. But Krishna is not like that. He remembers everything. He's not under the illusion. Uh, and that is why he does not forget. So, when I said that there is an interrelationship with the first part and the second part over here, uh, so uh, first is Krishna is present in the heart. Na? Sarvacha Samriddhi Sannavishto. Krishna is present in the heart, and um, that is talked earlier also. If you see in the 13th chapter, what is Shloka? उपदृष्टा च अनुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वर परमात्मेति चापि योक्तो देहेस्मिन् पुरुष परः. I think that was the 13th chapter, 23rd shloka. Let me just check. Yeah. Upadrishta cha anumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwar. What is saying here? Yet in the body, in this body, there is another transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and the permitter, and who is known as the super soul. So, when he's saying over here that Dehesmin Purusha Paraha, what is he saying over here? That there is another transcendental person, Purusha Paraha. And who is that Purusha Paraha? We also know that it's the Supreme Lord, right? And um, So in this particular shloka, this focus was on Upadrishta and Anumanta. He is the overseer and he is the permitter. He gives permission. He sees, he's just the observer. And he's the, Anumanta. He gives permission, right? Uh, and um, and how the Lord is the observer and the maintainer. But here the focus is on how, in this particular shloka, this is the 15th shloka, how the focus is on how he acts internally. See, Krishna acts internally as Chaitya Guru. The super soul is Chaitya Guru. 4 types of Guru we know. So one of the Gurus is Chaitya Guru. And uh, Chaitya Guru is coming from Chetana. He is the Guru from inside. Hamari Chetna. Chaitya. So Krishna, who is dwelling inside me as the Chaitya Guru, is present externally also. How is he present externally? I'm coming to this, back to our 15th shloka. And how he is, where was I? Just forgot. See, internally he is, the Chaitya Guru, and externally, as Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So from there he gives us Gyan through innumerable Shiksha Gurus or Diksha Gurus or through the Shastras, and he's giving us Gyan, and we get that Gyan, and after that we have a choice what to do with that Gyan. Either you apply, or if you decide to change a desire according to that Gyan. Like for example, if I get that Gyan, that I'm not this body, I am the soul, and I'm meant to love Krishna and serve Krishna, I will get far greater happiness in loving Krishna and serving Krishna, not trying to enjoy independently from Krishna. So this Gyan is not just meant for uh, accumulating in my head. So it is meant for pulling us towards Krishna. This Gyan is meant to increase my attraction towards Krishna and increase my desire to surrender more and more to Krishna, where when it says that Savai Pumsa Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaja. So if my attraction towards Krishna is not increasing, then it is just a waste of time. Shram eva hi kevalam. So now I have a choice that I have heard this knowledge, and based on my knowledge, I can change my desire. I can try to turn towards Krishna. And if I desire to turn towards Krishna, so um, and if I come, then there is another, full path for me, another track for me. But if I don't desire to come towards Krishna, there is another track, right? So when we say Krishna, uh, when we say Krishna gets forgetfulness, or sometimes we hear that, sense gratification leads to misery. But when the sense objects comes in front of us, uh, we surrender to Maya at that time instead of surrendering to Krishna. And one of the forms of sense gratification nowadays is more on mobile. Keep on seeing reels, and जो काम के है नहीं काम के है जो बिल्कुल भी काम के नहीं है, we actually don't require those reels at all in our life. To be very honest with you, we really don't require them at all. Because if you see, right from the ancient times, they did not have all these things, and yet all our acharyas, they have perfected, of course, they are perfected beings only, they're Nitya Siddhas, But those even who are sadhana siddhas, and then they became कृपा सिद्धास. कृपा सिद्धि यानी मतलब क्या कि गुरु और साधु की बड़ी अहेतु की कृपा मिली और फिर ये कृपा सिद्ध बन गए. तो ये सब चीजों की जरूरत है ही नहीं. And we try to surrender to Maya instead of surrendering to Krishna. We give up everything else, and we forget all the teachings that we have heard also. So, see, this is what has happened to even Ajamil. You know, he forgot all dharma. He forgot all, his daily duties also. He forgot that I'm a Brahmin. He forgot that, I'm a respected member of the society, and just got captivated by that uh, mm, prostitute, or he got very highly attracted towards that prostitute. So, Krishna over here, he's telling that to surrender to me, but we have other desires, material desires. So what happens is Maya is tempting us, and we get tempted also. And we forget all the instructions that we receive from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We actually succumb to those temptations. We give, मतलब हम उनके surrender कर देते हैं उनको, right, to those temptations. So now we can say that Krishna gave the forgetfulness. हम भूल गए थे, carry all these instructions. And we, uh, yeah, we come to those instructions, and we say that, oh, Krishna gives it. Therefore, Krishna is now responsible because he only gave me forgetfulness about himself. But we have to understand that, see, Krishna is a reciprocal God, or Krishna is responsive, and we are responsible. Right? Krishna is responsive in the sense that whatever desires we have, he's responding accordingly. But when we actually respond with our abilities, we are able to choose our response. When we say responsible, we're able to choose our responses, and which means that we choose the right response. So, for example, somebody is very much addicted to YouTube, or somebody is very much addicted to liquor, somebody is very much addicted to drinking cigarettes. So then I'm choosing my response to say no to that object. And whenever there's temptation comes, we actually remember that no, I don't want to do this. And that means whenever temptations come and we forget all the instructions, whatever we have heard from Krishna, and that is what is happening when he says that, what is that second chapter shloka? ध्यायतो विषयान पुंसा संगस्तेषु उपजायते संगात संजायते कामान कामा क्रोध विजायते. And the very next shloka he says that क्रोधात भवन्ति सम्मोह सम्मोहत स्मृति विभ्रमः. स्मृति जहां पे विभ्रम होती, बुद्धि नाशो, बुद्धि भी उसका, बुद्धि का भी नाश हो जाता है. बुद्धि नाश प्रणश्यति, then that person falls more down. So Krishna said that it all begins with, contemplation. And when he gives this whole sequence in which we let these consequences degenerate, contemplation, then there is attachment, there is infatuation, there is infatuation means kama, there is anger, there is forgetfulness, there is delusion also. And then after sammoha comes delusion. That means when temptations are coming, it is we who are contemplating. Oh, very nice, some movie has come in this theater, and how will I arrange for the tickets, and how will I go, and how will I enjoy. So then, and we entertain those desires. And when Krishna sees that I'm entertaining the desire, we are telling Krishna that I have heard all things that you have told me, but I don't care about it. I want to enjoy. Then Krishna says, okay, if that is what you want, then you enjoy separate from me. You want to continue that struggle for this Shulla Sukha, the tiny little pleasure that is there in this material world, and that is what you want, then I'll let you do. Tathastu. So Krishna gives us that forgetfulness because we want to act in the forgetfulness of that particular reality. And then when you say, when you learn to say no, actually, I want to remember. So when you say no to those sense objects, then you say that, okay, Krishna, I want to remember you. I want to act according to your instructions. And I want you, but this temptation is coming. And then this is my response, to whatever those temptations are. So, when we entertain our desires, we allow them to enter into our consciousness. And when we don't, we are saying no, we dismiss that desire, then we are retaining that desire to, to actually surrender to Krishna. So when I say entertain, so that is when we entertain the desires, they start, talking more and more. They start taking more and more space, and we give them that foothold to enter, and then they take a very strong hold over us. They, or in fact, sometimes they get a full hold on my consciousness. And that is why he's saying that, what is that? Uh, अपहृत चेतसम, मेरी चेतना को अपहरित करे, किडनैप कर लिया है. My consciousness gets abducted away. So we cannot blame Krishna for our forgetfulness. Krishna is always a reciprocal God, I always say, and he's a responsive person also. So when this temptation comes, if we still choose to love Krishna and surrender to Krishna and serve Krishna, then Krishna will give us a very strong remembrance of the messages of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And then over a period of time, Krishna will give us forgetfulness of that material desires. And whatever material enjoyment we did in the past, you'll eventually fade away. And then we won't feel that I'm missing something. I have to renounce something. No, actually, we feel that those who are chasing after that, then they're very in a very unfortunate position. And in the Bhagavatam also, Prahlad Maharaj says that Naivo Dvija Paradutaya Tavat Virya Gayan Mahamritagni Chitta. So he's saying that Cheto Vimukha Chetasa Indriyartha. He's saying that, my dear Lord, I don't have any anxiety that how will I cross beyond this material existence. Why? Because he's saying that I'm getting, because in glorifying you, I'm getting immense nectar. Virya Gayan. Gayan means to glorify, right? And Mahamrita Agni. I'm getting so much Maha Amrit. इतना नेक्टर मुझे मिल रहा है, तो फिर जो है अभी मुझे कोई एंजाइटी नहीं है, मुझे कोई टेंशन ही नहीं है. And so he's saying Cheto Vimukha Chetasa. But I am lamenting for those who are Vimukh Chetasa. those whose चेतना has turned विमुख हो गया है, जिनकी चेतना जो है, the consciousness has turned away from you, and for the sake of indriya artha, for the sake of sense gratification, those who have turned their consciousness away from Krishna, then what is happening? Maya Sukhaya Brahman. For the sake of illusionary happiness, what they are doing, they are carrying, Udvato Vimudhyan. Big burden they are carrying. Vimudha means foolish people. Foolish people always are carrying. Caring and crying also. So Vimudhas are empowered fools who are empowered to do foolish activities. Okay. And see, our desires only empower us. If the desires are positive, then the empowerment also will be positive. And if the desires are destructive, then the empowerment also will be destructive. Like if you see nowadays, in television and all this love jihad and, dange, fasad, this is very common, right? Burning of somebody's house and uh, just, kidnapping somebody, So their desires are not empowered by some positive actions until unless they come in contact with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that, I am actually, मुझे उन पे दया आ रही है. I am pitying those people who are chasing after sense gratification. For Shulla Sukh, for tiny pleasure, which is actually a big burden of hankering and lamentation. Mahat Gatana Veera Mayo Tasya. So, when I'm saying that coming back, okay, what does it mean that coming back? Of course, coming back to this particular verse also. So, when Prahlad Maharaj is seeing people enjoying sense gratification, what he has heard from his Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, he's heard from Narad Muni and others also that actually there is no real pleasure and it is simply gives suffering. So he's saying that he's not even considering enjoying the sense objects, enjoying sense gratification. Sense objects are not enjoying sense gratification because he is strongly chosen the desire to serve Krishna. So Krishna is giving Prahlad Maharaj more and more remembrance of his own beauty, his own sweetness, his own pastimes, his own glory. And then what happens is Maha Mrita Agni Chittaha. So when the more I'm remembering, the beauty and sweetness of Krishna, so what happens is I'm completely absorbed in the remembrance of Krishna. So when one comes to this stage, he forgets material enjoyment. That means there is very little enjoyment. One does not have to crave for this. One thinks that this little enjoyment and so much of hankering and so much of, lamentation, it's like a big dry sandwich, you can say. So Krishna can, invert even the normal dynamics for a very serious devotee. And when these sense objects come in front of that person, then he forgets Krishna and Guru and Sadhu and Shastra, and then he remembers Maya. So now Krishna is giving the forgetfulness also and remembrance because whatever the soul is desiring, and the struggle will become much more lesser for me. See, forgetfulness of sense gratification, remembrance of Krishna more and more, that is why my struggle will become much lesser for me. And when it is possible for us to remember Krishna, that time we should show eagerness. Uh, uh, and then when the temptation comes, then Krishna will give us the remembrance so that we do not indulge in that sense gratification. And we can begin, whenever there is temptation coming, you remember Krishna and immediately you will forget your temptation. So so many people, are before coming to Krishna consciousness, they were inclined towards eating meat and drinking liquor. But after coming into Krishna consciousness, they don't feel any attraction towards those tastes. Actually, it becomes better for them even to tolerate the sense of such things. So, what happens actually in their case is that Krishna has given them the forgetfulness of such type of taste that they had earlier. Somebody, likes onion, what do you say, onion pakoras. So, when they pass by an onion, onion shop or that hand cart, that does not trouble them. And such types of taste also they don't trouble us. Why? Because Krishna has helped them to forget those tastes that they had earlier. So, um, uh, so even many of the material enjoyments also that were there, some very cherished material enjoyments we had. Like, for example, I was a badminton player and I really love playing badminton. But as soon as I joined Krishna consciousness, I forgot, playing badminton. Recently, my sister's son, he started playing badminton. He's just 12 years old and he told me, Masi, please come to play badminton. And then I'm saying, no, I don't want to play. But Masi, you were a badminton champ. How can you not play? So then I said that no, I have no taste now for that badminton playing or many other things. Also, we had those material cherished enjoyments that we had. Um, so we just keep preserving in our practice of devotional service, and we keep on preserving, and even to that stage that these all become our lower taste because we have a higher taste now. These all things keep on becoming lower taste, and that's how when you shun the lower taste and you aggravate or you you come to a stage of surrendering towards Krishna through your higher taste of Krishna consciousness, then we come to a stage of liberation. And stage of liberation means what? Liberation from the strongest of the material enjoyments that we had or material contaminations that we had. And then we can relish Krishna consciousness, this the remembrance of Krishna, the love of Krishna, the joy of serving Krishna. So now, this is actually the first part of this particular shloka. Now we come to the second part, that Krishna gives us knowledge through Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And then, depending upon that desire, we cultivate. And then he only gives us remembrance and he gives us forgetfulness. And the second part is Vedeshcha Sarvera Ahameva Vedyum. And Vedanta Krit Vedavid Eva Chaham. So somebody might wonder that why these Vedas, just come suddenly. Because Gyan is mentioned in the Vedas. So Krishna, in the first part, he talked about his internal role as Matta Smritar Jnana Apohanam. His role is that he only, gives, remembrance and forgiveness. So somebody might wonder that how he is giving the gyan. He is giving gyan externally through the Vedas, and then he's saying that what external connection is there through the Vedas. He's saying that actually by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Vedas, they talk about many subjects, but if we use the Vedas in a very restricted sense, it is referring to the four Vedas, Karma Kand, Jnana Kand. So the Vedas primarily talk about Karma Kand, but the Vedas in generic sense is they are giving the knowledge, and the ultimate goal of that particular knowledge is to know Krishna. Krishna says in the seventh chapter, Bahunama Janma Namante, Jnanavam va prapadyate, Vasudeva Sarva iti, Saham Atma Sudurlabha. Uh, so, then there is a broader understanding of this word Veda, and a moderate understanding of this word Veda, which is like, includes even the Puranas and the Itihasas and the Upanishads and all. So, in general, this Vedic literature, there is a progression from the Karma Kand to the Jnana Kand, and ultimately to Bhakti. So, in that sense, because there is a progression over here, which is ultimately leading me to pure devotion to Krishna. So, by all the Vedas, who is to be known? Krishna is to be known. It is Krishna who is the object of the different subjects which are taught in the Veda. लक्ष्य क्या है, उद्देश्य क्या है? तो वेदों के माध्यम से उद्देश्य यही है कि कृष्ण को जाना जा सकता है. और in the 13th chapter also we discussed Jnanam, Geyam, and all that, the object of knowledge. So Krishna is the ultimate object of knowledge also. And then what he is saying that Sarvasya Ramridhi Sanvishtam, he is situated in everyone's heart. Similarly, Vedescha Sarvera Aham Eva Vedyo. It is important that we study a book. We should know that what is the purpose of that book. Vastu Nirdesh. What is the purpose of writing that book or even reading that book, right? And who is the object of that book? Like in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, who is the object and who is the subject? Both Krishna is only the object and Krishna is only the subject of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So if a book is having lots of information and we may some lose the track, then what is the purpose of the book? So we know that this is the objective of the book, right? And that is why you see many books will have the Paribhasya Sutra of a particular book. Like for the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Paribhasya Sutra shloka is Ete Chamsa Kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That is the Paribhasya Sutra, which is means what? All the other shlokas, they have to come to a common, conscience or a common understanding with the Paribhasya Sutra shloka. They have to agree with Ete Chamsa Kalapumsa. All the 18,000 shlokas that are there in the Bhagavatam, they have to come to a common understanding with the Ete Chamsa Kalapumsa shloka. For the Bhagavad Gita, the Paribhasya Sutra is Man Mana Bhav Mad Bhakta Madhya Jiva Namaskaru or Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mamekam Shana. All these shlokas have to come to a common understanding that by knowing everything, the final thing what I need to do is surrender to Krishna. So it is very important that so how that flow of the book is going, what is actually the book telling me, what is the purpose of that book. So that's how Krishna is telling that by all the Vedas, I am to be known. And then how does Krishna know this, that he is the goal of all? Or how does that person know that he's the goal of all the Vedas? He's saying that because Vedanta Krid. Vedanta Krid means what? He has compiled the Vedas. He is the compiler of the Vedanta. What does this mean? He came and he started writing all the Vedas. No, Vyasadev, who is a literally incarnation of the Supreme Lord, then he is the compiler of the Vedas. And uh, he does that. Now somebody might answer that how he is the compiler of the Vedas, because Ved when I'm saying that Vyasadev, he has compiled all the Vedas, there also, when Vyasadev was despondent, that time Narad Muni came and he said that, see, why you are despondent? आप क्यों दुखी हो? क्योंकि अभी तक आपने जो है भगवान की भक्ति के बारे में लिखा ही नहीं है, भगवान की शुद्ध भक्ति के बारे में नहीं लिखा है. You have not written about pure devotional service. In all the Upanishads and all the Puranas and all other texts that you have written, because you have not mentioned about pure devotional service, तुम इतना काम करने पर भी, इतना कुछ हासिल करने के बावजूद भी, you are not happy because you have not written about pure devotional service. So, Veda with eva chaham. Krishna is saying, I know all the Vedas also. So, I am the compiler, I am the knower, and I am the goal also. मैं ही वो लक्ष्य हूं. So, what is the purpose of the book? So, then whom do we ask? We'll go and ask the author. कि भाई इसका उद्देश्य क्या है इस book का? So, even in Gajendra's prayers also, if you see, it's a very nice prayer of Gajendra. 8 canto and half. Madrikrapana Pashupasha Vimoksha. Yes, 17th है शायद से. 17th ही है. मातृप्रपन्न पशुपाश विमोक्षणाय मुक्ताय भूरि करुणाय नमोललाय समावसेन सर्वतनु भृन्मनसि प्रतीत प्रत्यागदृश्ये भगवते बृहन्ते नमस्ते. So what is Gajendra saying over here? He's saying that such an animal, since an animal such as me has surrendered unto you, who is supremely liberated, certainly will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature as the Paramatma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, the Supreme Person of God. So, he's saying over here, Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya. And he's saying, Nama Alayaya. He's saying that, my dear Lord, you are liberated and you are supremely merciful and you are striving for my liberation. You are alayah, or you are never inattentive. You never get tired. You don't become lazy. You're constantly acting. You're constantly striving internally also and externally also for liberating me. That is Krishna's mercy. That is Krishna's mercy, because Krishna's ultimate mercy is that is not that he is maintaining this material world, but he takes us in his abode. He provides that abundant arrangement for that. This is actually Krishna's mercy. That is, I think, Bhuri Karunayaha, you know. So, that's how, so, here this ज्ञान वाला section जो है, यहाँ पे ये हो जाता है. So, when I'm saying that ज्ञान चक्षु, पश्यन्ति ज्ञान चक्षुः, then that section is talking about if someone is not perceiving to understand the Atma Tattva, then that person, or can that person make some spiritual advancement? So the person can see that, see, these all arrangements are made by Krishna at the material level, and gradually that person sees the arrangements made by Krishna at a spiritual level, that how Krishna is helping me internally also and externally also. Internally as the Chaitya Guru, and externally in the form of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So here Arjuna, he gets a question that, okay, oh Krishna, if you've compiled the Vedas and you know the Vedas, then can you tell me what is the essence of all the Vedas? So then that's how the three Shloki Gita, we have Chatushloki Gita also and we have three Shloki Gita also. Chatushloki Gita में क्या है? 10वें अध्याय का 10th chapter, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Okay, so those are the Chatushloki. Sorry, Chatushloki Gita. And now the three Shloki Gita is actually coming, which is 16, 17 and 18. The essence of the Vedas is taught over here in the 16th, 17th and the 18th shloka. And if you see in Srila Prabhupada's purport also over here, mm, it is, sometimes you just travel. He awards the different fruitive results. He is worshipable not only as the impersonal Brahman, the supreme person of Godhead, as lookless Paramatma, but as the form of incarnation of Vedas. As well. The Vedas give the right direction to people so that they can properly mold their lives and come back home, back to Godhead. So the Supreme Lord is, he's completely in the mode of deliverance for these conditioned souls. He's the, supplier also, and that's how he is the teacher of the Bhagavad Gita also, because he's teaching Arjuna that, see, I am the supplier, and I am the digester of all the foodstuffs. I'm witnessing also all the activities. I'm the giver of knowledge also. I'm the giver of the Vedas also, and I'm the teacher also. So this living entity, he's forgetting, and as soon as he quits his present body, but then he uh, uh, Krishna, when he see, as this living entity, when he quits his body, he Krishna begins to work again, and even this living entity, though he has forgotten the Supreme Lord, the Lord gives him the intelligence to again renew, his lost remembrance again. And from where he had ended last in his life, he helps him. That is why when we say in the second chapter, 40th shloka, that he says that there is nothing loss or domination in this process. Anybody who has left from even 20% can continue from 21%. So, when the Vedanta Sutra says that the ultimate goal is the Supreme Lord, and when Jiva Goswami in his when Jiva Goswami also, in the first four sutras of his Vedanta Sutra, he also said that Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Or when the Bhagavatam also says Janmadiyasi Yata, or the Shastra Yonit Tattvat, or Tattu Samanvayat, you know. So when he's saying that first you inquire about the Brahman, Atato Brahma Jigyasa, who is the source of everything, and how we know that he is the source. It is through the Shastras only. But Shastras, there are so many things, and how we know what is the conclusion of the Shastra, then we have to harmonize with, तत्तु समन्वयात, हमें समन्वय करना है, या harmonize. We have to reconcile, some methodology, and then we harmonize with the Shastra. So when he's saying to harmonize, what are the different things in the scriptures? We have to understand that they are in hierarchy. Hierarchy means from level 1 to, level 10, that way. And on the top of the hierarchy is the knowledge of Krishna. So when you have Karma Kand, Karma Yoga, Gyan Kand, Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and all that. But top is Bhakti Yoga, that way. So knowing about Krishna is the most important for us. So instead of taking the staircase, what do? I take the elevator. And in this verse, the purpose of the Vedas, the understanding of the Vedas, or the goal of Vedas, is very clearly defined, that it is Krishna who is to be known through the Vedas. So now, yeah. So this is this. So now we are essence of the Vedas in 16, 17, and 18. So this is the three shloki Bhagavad Gita that's coming up. What I should do, should I take it next time or should I continue it? But I won't be able to finish.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Sucharita, tell me.
Mataji, this previous shloka, the Krishna says that, for forgetfulness and remembrance thing, that some souls, they remember past life also. So that, of course, we cannot say that why Krishna does that, but yeah, so that remembrance comes from the mercy of Krishna.
Yes.
Also, people like to go to past life also, these past life regression classes by psychologists, which devotees, of course, they are not interested. But there are many people, they go there. But how do they come back to the body? And some souls, they remember the past life. Is it because, I mean, like that proves that soul incarnates again. So
Yes,
can
yes.
you comment on both these things?
Yeah, see, in these past life regressions, when we say, how do they, come about, and how these uh, when you say about past life regression, they take you to, somewhere, um, the past life. Now, and they take you to the past life means, they not only take you to the previous life, but they take you towards many other lifetimes also. Sometimes it could be 10 lifetimes behind, right? And um, uh, it could be, just a previous lifetime. Because many times, we also do not know that what was my, what was my previous life also. And these, past life regressions, when we say that they mostly actually uh, they take you through hypnotism also, and they take you back. So if a particular person is hypnotized, and he is given that particular treatment, then they take you to the previous life, and in that previous life, what was that thing that was troubling you, that they will actually dig out and they will find out. And that's how those past life regressions are completely, deleted as such in those times, but not fully, you can say. They could be to a certain extent, but not fully. See, what is the connection between that past life regression and whatever we are doing currently in our spiritual life? Okay. So we also know that if I am surrendered to the Supreme Lord, then the Supreme Lord will definitely help me burn the sinful activities or the reactions to those sinful activities of my past birth. Now it depends to the degree of my surrender. Jitna I will be surrendered, my past life regressions will be forgotten. But mostly, devotees now know, but sometimes those devotees who are not able to completely surrender because of, XYZ reasons, then they take help of such doctors as such. And they can take help of such doctors to understand that if I will get away with this, then I will be able to surrender. Because of their conditioning at this in this present life, they are not able to surrender to the Supreme Lord fully. So then they take help of some experts, and then they try to find out, what happened in my past life and what did I do and what did I not do as such. And that's how, but for us devotees, the more we take up to the process of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and all that, to that extent, those regressions will fade away. Like जैसे मैंने अभी भी बताया आपको कि just maybe a few minutes back, 10-15 minutes back, I told that Krishna only helps us. Jitna jitna our attraction towards Krishna will increase, then that forgetfulness will come from Krishna only. That we will forget what we have done, and our consciousness will be completely clean. The more and more we actually cling on to Krishna, or we surrender to Krishna, or we follow the process. Jitna jitna we will follow the process strictly in the mood of an humble servant of the servants, to that degree Krishna will help us forget us, help us forget the past life regressions also. And what to speak of even past life, in this life also. See, there are, like, see, you and I, we have gone through almost the same suffering, right? And with me, of course, with you also, because you're also surrendered soul, we are trying to surrender more and more to Krishna. And that is why we are able to forget and forgive also. Because हम कहते हैं कि अगर भगवान का हृदय विशाल है, if Krishna's heart is very big to forgive so many living entities, so I am a part and parcel of the same Lord. So even I should have the quality of forgiving and forgetting. So first we forgive and then we forget. It's not like that we forget and we forgive. No, first we forgive those people and then we forget also. That because we understand the eternity of a relationship with Krishna. हमें पता है कि मेरा शाश्वत relationship, my eternal relationship is only with Krishna. These all people who have come into my life is because of my past some karmas I have done. Bhagavatam also says that your आपके दुश्मन ही आपके सगे संबंधी बन के आ जाते हैं. And it's not in all cases, it's only in some cases. Like, so, many times I remember if I used to trouble my mother a lot being a child, આ મારા ગયા જન્મનું વેર લેવા આવી છે. Like I was a very troublesome child in my childhood, in the sense that I was very naughty and I was a very rebellious child also. But of course, when I actually came in my seventh grade, I became very more cool, calm, and composed as such. But I've heard my mother saying this, and even the Bhagavatam says your your enemies only come in the form of your relatives, and it's not in all cases, only in some cases it is that. But then how do we take that also reversals as the mercy of Krishna, and how do we react in those situations, and how like for Queen Kunti, it was not very easy, to bring up these 5 children. She also had to battle out a lot, in the absence of her husband. And then Dhritarashtra's sons, Duryodhan and all, every time plotting many, many things as such. But in all those reversals, also, one thing was very sure with these Pandavas was that they never forgot the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. They were always surrendered to the Supreme Lord. And that is why Queen Kunti also says that these reversals, for me, these reversals work much better. Why? Because in those calamities also, I remember you, or I'm able to remember you. That ability is also coming from Krishna only. And because I'm able to remember you, I can easily get out of the clutches of birth and death. So she's saying, please give me those calamities. Of course, we are not at that stage that we will keep on asking calamities, because many times we do not know only how to respond to a particular calamity. We react. But if we learn to respond means to harmonize with that particular situation. कि ठीक है, ये परिस्थिति मेरे साथ आई हुई है, अब how will I deal with it? Krishna, give me that particular intelligence to how to deal with it in this particular situation, and in such a way that I will not forget you. I will not forget surrendering you. Like you see, in most people's cases, even within ISKCON, what happens is that एक धमाका उनकी लाइफ में आ जाता है, one explosion in their life, and they out of ISKCON. They think that, oh, this process does not work only. I came in Krishna consciousness thinking that I will get rid of all my, difficulties and distress and anxiety and stress. But yeah, I have more stress. And uh, see, when you're taking a medicine, it takes time to work. And to the degree of your surrender to Krishna, the medicine works. To the degree of you following those regulations and principles and the what do you say, and the path that has been given to us, right? To that degree, the medicine will work, right? If somebody just occasionally is taking medicine, then that process will not work for him, right? If somebody is saying that, okay, yeah, I am chanting and I come to the temple every day and, I'm listening to the Bhagavatam and still I'm having so much of stress and so much of anxiety and all, then we need to contemplate that what is going wrong with the medicine? What is going wrong with me? Medicine is not wrong. Hare Krishna Mahamantra or the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita that we are hearing, it is completely spotless. But then there is a problem with my understanding of that process, my attitude towards that particular process. कि क्यों काम नहीं कर रहा है, मेरा नजरिया क्या है, why, what am I doing, with this process? So the moment you try to figure out that I'm only in the taking mode from this process and not in the giving mode, then that could be a problem that we need to figure out as such. So, what you are saying is, definitely, to one extent or one side of the picture or one extent is that, yes, people can take help of those past life regressions, but they have to come to this conclusion or they have to come to this uh, point of harmonizing ourselves with Krishna. The problem is that we are rebellious towards Krishna and we are not harmonizing ourselves towards Krishna. And that is why people will keep on having regressions. They will not come up to the point of pure bhakti then. The lower modes will keep on pulling them down, and the regressions will keep on pulling them down. And what is the goal of life? To please Krishna, then that they will miss on that. So, uh, and for that, we need to be in the right association of devotees. Devotees are the only way to help me come out from the situation or whatever calamities I have. They will only help me to come out. And in my times of calamities that I had faced, for me, actually, the biggest solace or the biggest balm that I had uh, for me in those times was actually Srila Prabhupada's books. They were a balm to they were very soothing, a soothing balm to my, stress and anxiety and whatever I went through at that point of time. And, you know, people cannot even imagine that, in a devotee circle, this can happen. So, yes, for me, I was in the right association of devotees, and the best association I had was Srila Prabhupada's books. And that was, doing the work of balm. And in those situations, I was able to understand that I should be more forgiving. Let me keep on forgiving because I am suffering for my own bad karmas, what I must have done. So let me not blame on anyone. Let me blame it on myself and keep continuing in Krishna consciousness and not leave the path. So this is what we actually need to do in many of the cases uh, of whatever we've gone through in our past as such. Or sometimes it can come up in the future also. But now, since we have knowledge, we need to set our mindset in that way only. Ki whether आंधी आए तूफान आए, but my boat, the spiritual boat should be anchored to the lotus feet of Krishna. The Lord's lotus feet are compared to the boat. I should be sitting in that boat. I should be anchored to the lotus feet of Krishna. And then whatever Krishna wants to do, let him do that. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tomar. Ashli Shiva Padaram Pinashtuman. Whether you accept me, you reject me, but all in all, I know is that I am yours and you are mine. Like, one of the, like, His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj, he sings very nice bhajan. Vitthal Maza, 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 Maza. Vitthal Maza, 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 Maza. Me Vitthalacha. Vitthal is mine and I am Vitthal. बाकी मुझे कुछ नहीं पता है. Of course, this will take a long time to come to that point that Krishna is mine and I belong to Krishna. Currently, we think that I belong to so many people around me, and I belong to my mobile and my laptop and all other situations as such. But eventually we will definitely merge out. And prayers play a very important role in this. The moment prayers go up, blessings come down. And if we do not know how to pray, then sing Vaishnava bhajans. In that, we will know how to pray to the Supreme Lord intensely. All the Vaishnavas have taught us how to pray. We can have a journal also. Nowadays, those people who are too much in stress, because see all these IT people and CEOs and uh, businessmen and all these people, they go through a very high level of stress. So their doctors ask them to journal on a daily basis. What is the good that happened? What is the bad that happened? And how can I forget that bad? And how can I improve myself on the next day? And they tell them to write even some positive affirmations also. So in that way, these things help us a lot. Like I journal a lot. It's just that I don't publish those because sometimes the language or the articulation is not to the mark, and that's how um, uh, I don't publish those journals because I'm not a very good articulate person. I can just write in simple words. That's it, as such. Okay, so Charita, does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji. Also, that I asked that some people remember past life. So, what you
Yeah,
can
that is
comment on?
the mercy of the Lord. That is the mercy of the Lord. Krishna, through them, wants to teach us that yes, reincarnation is there. He wants to prove that, okay, the soul has reincarnated in another body. And if the soul remembers his past life, see, in many reincarnation cases, if you must have seen now, that they do remember, but after some time they fade, those remembrances fade away also. And they come back to their normal life. Like even those small children who were born in some village of India and then they start speaking French and German, or somebody was a violinist or something like that, they eventually forget. It's just that Krishna through them wants to actually show the world that yes, reincarnation, the soul is reincarnated. Because many people lament, कि अब तो चला गया, वो चला गया. But Krishna is saying that he is born in another body according to his, karmas that he has done. Then he is reborn again in another body. So don't lament. This is what even Krishna is telling Arjuna also, that don't lament for the body, because I am not the body, I am the soul, and the soul will reincarnate again in another body. And these people also who are on the battlefield, you don't need to lament for them, because they are going to either get heavenly planet or they will be reborn again on this earth planet as such. Okay.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Yeah. Who is Sonali? Who is Sonali? Is she from our class? I don't know.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Huh.
She's from our class only. She shifted to Bangalore, so for some time she took some break. She got married. You would come for a marriage.
Sonal Mane. Okay. I have saved
Yes.
Mane. Okay. Fine. Okay. So anybody has any other questions, you can ask me. Okay. So, many people have not given, many devotees have not given the examination also. I think maybe the second unit of Bhagavad Gita or the first unit of Bhagavad Gita. So the board has told me that those whose pending examinations are remaining, they have to clear it before they actually, give this examination. I mean, the third unit. This is what they're saying, because the board told me that if you'll not be a little strict, then what will happen? It'll keep on dragging. So we will be finishing the 18th chapter. It will take a long time for us because we're going a little slow only as such. But my humble request is that you please take a month or a two to actually give those examinations. If you've missed unit 1, unit 2, please take out some time to re-answer them. I am ready to schedule also. Generally in afternoons, thoda bahut, I can give some time, or a little at night I can give some time. You just coordinate with me. अगर आपका कोई भी exam रह गया है, so you tell me my this examination is remaining and I want to give it, whether it's a written examination or an oral shloka or your OBAs, because this is all yagya. I told you all in the very beginning, ये yagya है, ये आहुतियां जा रही है. This, studying Bhakti Shastri in itself is a big yagya that we are doing. And the mood of the yagya, or the aim of the yagya, is to please Krishna. है ना, हम प्रसन्न करना चाहते हैं हम भगवान को. So take it in that spirit, and maybe you could just answer your examinations before we start the next unit. So those people who have not given these 3 units, Bhagavad Gita unit 1, 2, and 3, will not be allowed for the next book that we will be, studying, that is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So, and that book is such a wonderful book. The fruit of studying Bhagavad Gita, we all will achieve it when we are studying actually Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So, very my humble request is that those who have not given the examinations, please clear your examinations, give your examinations, and then that will be very good for you all. Okay. Anything more anybody wants to clarify? Okay, so we stop for the
Mataji,
day.
Hare Krishna, Dana Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Tell me.
Mataji, see, Krishna is making us to forget things also, like as per the shloka. So we forget answers while writing exams. That also is mercy or no?
We forget ourselves while writing examinations? Means answers. Okay.
Yeah.
Answers. Yes.
Forgetfulness.
See, Prabhuji, actually, like, for example, like senior citizens, because I have parents, and my mother's brains are still very sharp. Okay, like she's 73, but she can quote shlokas left, right, and center. And I always tell her, Mama, you can, do these courses now also. But though she has lost that confidence. She says that, nay, I've lost the confidence. And on the other side, my father, he cannot remember even 2 words of any shloka. He cannot remember. For example, me, my mother, and my sister, if we have attended a particular lecture, we can come back and tell that same lecture verbatim. But my father cannot. He can maybe tell only 2-3 lines what he has remembered as such. So it is age, age factor also, that and in that also, I'll tell you what. See, my father came a little later in bhakti. We came right from childhood as such, in a young age we came. So what happens is हमने हमारे brain के muscles को काफी exercise करवाया है. I want to remember this, I want to do this, I want to do that. Now in my father's case, what happened, he finished his study long time back, and then now comes a time that he has to remember, and he has to recall many things. So it is difficult. वो practice छूट गया है. But that does not mean that, I know some devotees who came at a little later age, and they are able to, quote so many shlokas written that. It's all about your brain exercise जो आप कर सकते हो. कि how much you want to, serve Krishna through, memorizing shlokas, memorizing, and as all this is service to Krishna only. That if I write, so if example somebody asks you the same question, okay, what you've written, you'll be able to answer very easily. Somebody has a doubt, you'll be able to answer very easily those doubts also. So forgetting is there, but if we keep on consistently, and like I have a student currently, you won't believe I'm like the high level of patience. She, she gives, she is helping me exercise high level of patience with her. So from past 2 months, she's with me. She's never been to school. She's age 6. Okay, she's a small girl, and from past 2 months, we are doing only two things with her: write 1 to 100 and writing ABCD. Write 1 to 100, and still abhi bhi she is not able to read 1 to 100 very fluently, or neither is she able to read ABCD, fluently. With her, it is taking a very long time. And on other side, her own brother also is there with me for tuitions. And he's like, quick, 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 quick. Her brother is also coming to me from age 6. But the retention recalling the brother has is like massively amazing. And here is the sister. मतलब बहुत high level of patience I have to have with her. Like, so it depends from case to case कि कितना हम अपने brains को exercise करवाते हैं, how much we want to surrender to Krishna, how much we want to help others to remember Krishna. Now, people, when they will ask us questions while doing book distribution or while giving a particular class, we should be able to answer those questions and help them. See, when we are answering the question, so what is a prayer that we do is that, please help me to give the right answer to this person so that he does not lose his faith in Krishna consciousness. That mode should be there while answering answers to some questions that we have. Sometimes that answer might not be the perfect answer also, but at least our prayers for that particular person who's asking a question should be that Krishna, let him remember you always and not forget you. That is why we have that, no, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So that should be our mood while, giving answers. But in total, we should be, sufficiently equipped with philosophy so that we can help others to remember Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji. Anybody else has any question, doubt, queries? Okay, so we halt for the day. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna, Hari Bol.
Krishna, thank you for the Pranam.
Tanu Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.